Oh, hey, self-lovers. Welcome back to another episode of The Road to Self-Love. It's your boy, Paul Fishman, self-love coach and you do you activist. Here today, very excited. Wait, I messed it all up. If you aren't familiar with the show, you haven't listened before, well, I have my guests join me literally and figuratively on the road to self-love. So we get into the car, we drive around. Of course, what are we calling it? The panoramic has thrown a wrench into that. However, I am really excited to start safely getting back into the car with some guests who are willing to do so. And we always play some road trip games. As of late, I've loved playing We're Not Really Strangers with my guests. I'm a big fan of this card game. I'll link it below if you want to check it out in the show notes as well, because it really helps to get to know people real quick. So We're Not Really Strangers came out with this self-reflection pack, like just for us. And I figured, well, I'm just gonna go through and answer these questions and see where it takes us. I got the package in the mail. When was this mailed? Like months ago. And I haven't even opened it yet because, you know, so I haven't played this. Oh, it's my dream. Self-awareness starts with self-reflection. Amen. So I've never opened this. I don't know what the questions are going to be like. I'm going to do my best to just go with the flow. I can't even open this. Well, okay, is this an ASMR channel now? What is going on? Does this make you feel as awkward as I am? Finally, I opened it. Okay. Okay, we're just going to hop into this. What have my past relationships taught me about myself? Good and bad. You want to play this with me? Why don't you play along? Let's start with the good. The good things that I've taught about myself is that I'm resilient. I am resilient. I've dated some winners and I'm resilient. I am worthy of joy and love and abundance and doing the things that I want to do without being made feel wrong. Oh, I've been made feel wrong by so many past relationships. What are the bad things? I'm keeping this short because I could literally talk all episode about this. The bad things that I've learned about myself is that I rely on other people's validation a lot more than I'd like to admit. That's not really the best, but because of that, I've been able to really heal that. You know, I teach people how to love themselves. So my journey to self-love is now your journey to self-love. And if you can relate to anything I'm saying, well, you know how we do. You are not alone. So maybe I can just tell a little story about really the shortest relationship that, you know, destroyed me the most. Can you relate to like our shortest relationships sometimes are like the worst because they're the shortest because they're the worst, but they're just so horrible? Well, so I was dating this guy and right off the bat, he totally disrespected me and didn't share something really important about himself that it would probably have been nice to know before, you know, we hopped into bed together. I convinced myself that it was my fault, that because I didn't ask the questions that needed to be answered. And I beat myself up for a long time and allowed him to play the victim for a really long time. And this can kind of relate back to a lot of people's journey in relationship, because we allow other people to blame us for their forthcomings or their shortcomings. Yeah, their shortcomings and their lack of forthcomings, right? And this is a really tough pill to swallow because as I'm looking at myself and looking back at that time, I was so desperate for someone to validate me that I didn't care who that someone was. And it wasn't until I realized that I needed to validate myself and I get to validate myself that the magic really happened and life changed for the better. So yeah, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, you are worth being treated with respect. And if you're not, like, you're not wrong to want to walk away. So think about that before you let him or her or whomever disrespect your ass, because you are not worthy of being disrespected any longer. You are never worthy of being disrespected. Excuse you and me. Okay, moving on to the next question. Every single one of these questions. What have I been sensitive to lately? I've been really sensitive to my growth, in the sense that, like, 2020 was a year. Can you relate? You can totally relate. 2020 was a year. It was really tough. It was really hard. It was really painful. There was lots of loss. There was lots of reprogramming, lots of newly discovered patterns. And I've been so sensitive to my avoidance of not wanting to actually work through those stupid patterns. But I'm doing it. I'm sensitive to the avoidance, but I'm doing it. Okay. I'm feeling like cutting up this a little bit. I'm not just gonna go straight through. Like, there's a lot, and don't worry, we're not gonna do all of them together. There's like 52 questions. Wow. In what ways do I want to be like the people that raised me? What's important for me to avoid repeating? Okay. My parents are amazing. Like, the way that they nurtured me and made me feel safe to be myself fully most of the time is something that I'm really grateful for. I really appreciate of them. I would love to continue fostering that with my community, with my husband, with my future family, or whomever enters into my life. I want everyone who comes into my circle to feel safe to be themselves. Note to self, Paul, why don't you always feel safe to be yourself? We gotta figure that out. So what's important for me to avoid repeating? You know, there's this pattern and this conditioning in my family of, we told each other everything. We were always like in each other's business, very codependent. Me, my mom, my dad, my brother and sister. And I don't want to repeat that. I want to have some independence. I think that we've been conditioned as a society to think of relationship and family and codependency within those things as the norm, and it is not. It is it is not the norm. Well, it is the norm, but I don't believe that it's meant to be the norm, because the reality is that your independence and what makes you you and your individuality is what I most want to cherish about you, and what I want you to cherish most about yourself. And when we get caught up in what our parents want us to do, what our friends, our family, our significant others, our partners want us to do, our followers on Instagram want us to do, well, we tend to lose ourselves. And I'm just here to help you rewrite that story, just like I'm rewriting the story. I get to be independent from Richard, my husband. I get to be independent from my parents, my brother and sister. I get to be independent from all of you. I get to be my own version of me. And that is something that I think is just really exciting and liberating. So that's what I definitely don't want to repeat. Okay, next question. All of these, every time you're just like, okay, what is he gonna gasp about? What can I be kinder towards myself for today? I'm showing up as a real human, y'all. Seriously. Okay. There are lots of things that come up for me. The first thing that popped up is my body. I do love my body and what it allows me to do. Have I packed on some pounds during the quarantine? Yes. Have I witnessed a pattern, and I can't blame the quarantine, the pandemic? Yes. Is it a thing that I want to heal? Yes. Am I excited about healing it? Absolutely not, because it's going to be very hard and challenging, and it's been a pattern that I've been experiencing my entire life, where, you know, we lose a little weight, then we gain a lot back, and the scale just keeps going on like that. So I'm really hard on myself about this because it's a pillar of my journey to self-love, and to say that the weight that I lost at the beginning of my self-love journey is weight that I've gained back, it's not something that I'm very excited to announce to the world, but it's my truth. And I think that being able to love myself through that is definitely good and definitely something that I can continue striving for, because self-love is not finite. You're not going to wake up one day and love yourself, just like I woke up one day having lost 75 pounds and then decided to kick back and enjoy, not going to the gym and eating a lot of Taco Bell. Oh my God, we had Taco Bell a couple days ago. It was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. And it's like I make these decisions, so I get to take radical responsibility for the decisions that I make in my life. And I can, yes, feel a lot of shame about the fact that I've gained that weight back. Or I can say, okay, what is this weight gain teaching me? What do I get to uncover about this pattern? Because there's definitely a pattern and I've witnessed it. And yeah, we're gonna heal through it. So what patterns are you moving through and you've noticing? Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more of these, and please don't let them be real savage. Okay. What have I always accepted as true that turned out to be false? I always wanted my parents to love me in a certain way. A way where it was unconditional, truly unconditional, that they never judged me, that they didn't have any negative thoughts about me or expectations, or that my parents were superhumans that just saw me as this amazing person and didn't hold any judgment or expectation about who I was or what I was doing. And I now know that it's almost a fact that our parents will never love us the way we want to be loved. And here's the why behind this. The only person who can truly love you the way you're meant to be loved is you. And until you love yourself unconditionally, until you love yourself the way you want your parents to love you, there is no way that they will even be able to come close. And because self-love is not finite, right? Self-love isn't something you're gonna wake up one day and have and never have to work at again. Well, that's where you get to take radical responsibility and just love the heck out of yourself every single day. Do your best. And your parents are only human, and they're on their own self-love journey, believe it or not. They're beating themselves up about the way that they've raised you. And you're over here beating yourself up about the way you were a child for them. See? So let's see if I can, first of all, how does this make you feel? Like and comment this if you're watching it on YouTube. Let me know how this makes you feel. Can you relate?